Hi YouTube, this is a video that I'm uploading about my brand new Greyhound engine by lifin, or lifin, however you pronounce it. The Chinese motor. It's a Honda clone. It's about 6.5 horsepower gasoline engine with overhead valves. It's an air filter, and it's got a Japanese Honda carburetor, so it's got a carburetor like a Honda. Overhead valve. Big spark plug, not that big. Got a nice little muffler on it with a shield. I believe it holds 3.6 gallons of gasoline, which is a lot for an engine, I think, of this type. Yeah, it's metal, plastic. This is plastic, but it's got metal on the inside. This is metal recoil. Has good compression out of the box. Not gonna pull it too much because I don't want to pull it off the table. This is a power switch that you turn it on with, of course. Some people, you can modify it to have a key pretty easily. I'm sure you can take this off and modify it or bypass it. Not too difficult. It's a dioid, I believe, for the ignition. It has electronic ignition, so you have to have that with all electronic ignitions. Lipstick, of course. It has a nice, good-sized PTO. This is a PTO. It has a feature that I can't believe. You can't see it in the video, but it has a shut-off valve for the gas, which is really nice. So it has its own shut-off valve built in with the sediment bowl right there. There's a nice little throttle. See, real smooth, really easy going. All you do is loosen the bolt here, and you're able to move the throttle pretty easily. This is a fuel valve on the bottom. Choke here. Easy to operate, real smooth. Impressive. I remove the air filter. It's a unique little air filter, I believe. We've also written that on top of the engine, which I'll get later. It's got a two-stage air filter. The first stage is the outer cover, and the inner stage is a plated filter. Pretty difficult to take this off one-handed without ripping the filter. But it is a plated filter, as you can see. It's really nice. Had a nice muffler, big muffler for its engine. Really quiet, I heard. Have a generator. Had to dig that out. I had to take the cover off and dig that out, but that's not too hard. Oh, it's got a little strainer on the gas tank. It's got an oil filled and oil dipstick. Those silver plugs do not come out because they're not used. Got real good recoil. You can hear the recoil. Really smooth. Look how big that rope is. My gosh, the rope is huge. Compression is really good on this engine. That is before I took it apart. But the compression is still good otherwise. The compression is really good on this engine. It's a 6.2 horsepower engine, I believe. It does have overhead valves, but it does not. It has a valve on this engine. I'm sad to see it. The intake is the same size as exhaust. It's real little, that little. They're both the same size. That's unfortunate. That's okay. It's not a performance motor by all means. It's just a motor used mostly for generators and pumps and things of that sort. You can use it for a go-kart, but you have to modify the throttle. That way it doesn't stay like that. This engine is really designed to run at constant speed. I have to find the other wing nut that I dropped in the engine compartment, between the engine. Yeah, it's about $74 if you have a coupon from Harbor Freight. You gotta have a coupon, I believe. It said on the fine print. It looks like beauty covers on. I know, yes, I know the fuel cap's on, but that's what it looks like with beauty covers on board. That is a switch for the electric ignition. It is electronic ignition. As I mentioned before, it's a nice little motor, and I think it's got potential. I might one day I might run it when I get the proper torque wrenches and replace all the gaskets in it. That I replace the gaskets and everything. Make sure maybe one day I run it. Who knows? But I really got it so I can learn how the overhead valve engine works, because my stepdad and mom have a generator with the same type engine on it. They have I believe it has a 6.5 horsepower engine on it. Same style, but different color. That's why I got this one, so I can learn how to disassemble and take apart the engine properly. It's not too difficult to take apart. So you gotta remember where everything goes. It takes time to put everything back together as you see it. That throttle linkage I had real trouble with when I first got it, to get it to engage properly, but it obviously works. It works with a little spring, like a shock absorber. The spring expands enough to allow the governor to move. See? But not enough to do anything, so you don't want the governor to move too much, because it'll hit the rod and piston. It's a real good size bore on this engine. It's really impressive for a product from Japan or China. I'm really impressed. I have nothing against people in Japan and China, by the way. These are good people, and most of my friends I go to church with are Chinese. Very nice people. It's just the manufacturing process of some of the products that they manufacture. Not so good, but it's nothing against the people. It's something against the companies they work for. They just do their job. So I don't try not to down them too much. Actually, I mentioned before, I think this engine comes from Harbor Freight. Right down up the road there, and it's for, I paid about $99. I think I paid about $80 or $82 for this machine, for this unit. I was supposed to pay $72, but I guess that's a coupon. As I found out, you got to read the fine print. Very important to read the fine print. I got my camera plugged in, so I'm pretty much limited to what I can do. Get it spin around here. You can do that, select from the side. I didn't know that's the overhead valve cover. Like on a car, if you guys work on cars, you know what this is. It's basically set up as an old-fashioned car. It's got push rods right here, and lifter and rockers here, and the tappets over inside does the lifters. This is the breather hose, as you can see it, for the reed valve is inside this head, inside this cover. And it goes through this filter, and it goes through the filter here. So this is the slash air filter breather. This filter is cleanable, as it states on the maintenance schedule. If it can focus, you have to check the hardware tightness every time you start it. You should always check the oil and the air filter. You should replace the air filter first month or 20 hours. But it's actually not replace the oil filter. It's not oil filter or air filter, excuse me, it's the oil. You change the oil first time you get the business because it's metal shavings that it makes with the cylinder wears in the rings. Air filter you can clean, and you can clean every 6 months or every 100 hours. And you're cleaning it just the spark plug will replace every 300 hours or a year. Deposit cup that you clean, which this is the deposit cup. The deposit cup they're talking about is that little server thing right there. That's the deposit cup for the carburetor. And there's a little one on the fuel valve that you have to clean out if you get dirt in your fuel. That's the sediment hole. Deposit cup is here. This is the drain for it, and you remove it with one bolt on the bottom. It comes off. You check on the inside, make sure there's no dirt. You make sure that you replace the oil ring on top where the carburetor is. Make sure the oil ring stays in place, and put it in this position, not that position, so it hits that edge. You don't want this bolt to hit there. Otherwise, you will not be able to access this drain plug if you want to winterize the unit. That's how you drain the flow bowl. That's the oil drain right there. I personally, if I was going to use this engine, when I use that, but that's the oil plug, and there's another one on the other side. I'll just use this, tilt the engine equipment over, and you drain the oil. Most of it will come out. What doesn't come out will not affect the engine too much. And the other side is the little oil plug too, which the dipstick's there. It says maintain air cleaner, which is a good idea, and it's a good little engine. You do have to clean this. This is the air. This is a spark arrestor. Gotta make sure that's clean. This one you can't remove, so you have to kind of make sure it stays clear. That's a bad idea on this standpoint. You can probably buy a muffler like from a generator, what a generator has, and put on this in if you want it to, and use it as a generator to take this off. But usually you can leave that on or take it off. It can run either way, I'm pretty sure. This makes the most heat, so this you have to make sure you clean the little filter on the inside. There is a reed, you should make sure it's clear, or otherwise that's the PCP valve for the crank. You have to make sure that's clean, and if it's clogged, your engine will not run. You don't want to. You can't use it. You can't disconnect this hose and leave it unhooked when you run the engine because it's against EPA law. You're not allowed to run it to the atmosphere, so it has to have a filter released to filter out any of its dirt fumes. What else can I mention? I think there's a fuel valve, of course. You already know that. There's a little ball underneath, similar to what this is, that removes that you have to clean out every so often to make sure it's clear. Most of the time you don't have to clean it out. This is the thing you have to clean out. Well, the strainer. You should always make sure, if you have this engine, make sure you put this in there first, then pour the gas in it with this in it, so that way any dirt in your gasoline will filter out. Then when you finish, drip it out and then dump it out, put some gasoline and put it back on the cab. And that would eliminate any fuel contamination from dirt. There's another one inside where the nipple is, where it hooks up to the carburetor. There's a little screen there you have to clean out if it gets plugged up really bad. That's the fuel filter. So there's two fuel filters on this engine. If you run this engine, you could put one on there very easily. Pretty sure. Put one on there. So it's a good little engine. Yeah. Those of you that would enjoy it a lot, and hopefully it's a good little engine and it's very popular. Get them by the last at Harbor Freight before they discontinue them, because they're coming up with a new, more expensive model. So grab them while they're cheap. Quality is good, and the engine itself really heavy. It's heavy for me. Got a real. This one's got a real flywheel, a real one instead of a aluminum one like lawnmowers. So that's why you can't use lawnmower engines for go-karts, because of the flywheel. It comes with a keyway and a spark plug wrench too. It comes with a very long thing that you can actually pull out. Look, it's got a convenient little handle, so you can pull out the spark plug wire lead very easily. Can't do it with one hand. Yep. That'd be it. That's my review on the Harbor Freight Honda clone Greyhound lifin engine. It's made in China. The only thing that's made in Japan is that carburetor. That's made by Honda. You want to know. Hondas make the same carburetor as this is. If you have a Honda like this one, you have a Honda engine that looks like this, in this configuration, that carburetor will fit. And if you have a generator, a 5,000 watt Champion generator, 5,000 watt, this carburetor will fit it too. It will also fit if you have a Yardman overhead valve engine too. It will fit it too. Plus, you even have a fuel valve built into the carburetor that you can use with those engines. So that would make sense. Your generator has its own fuel valve, but it has two of them. You have to bypass that one. But the lawnmower will benefit from the fuel valve carburetor. That would be good. If you want to upgrade, I'm sure it'll work. Well, that was it. That's my video of the 6.5 horsepower general purpose engine. Don't do like I did and drop the wing nut into a spot where you can't get to it. Or I have to get way down there and get it. And I'll do that. Got some other time.